Hello everyone, this is Colbert Tech Repair, and I thought I would just get you guys out a little bit of tech news over the Christmas holiday, just to keep you up to date on everything that's going on. I hope you are enjoying your holidays and celebrating whatever you celebrate. I celebrate Christmas, you might be celebrating something different, but let's get on with today's tech news. Now, it seems that Apple has been fined $667,000 for trying to influence the Taiwanese iPhone prices. Now, Apple has been fined these prices, and the reason is that Apple insisted on signing off an iPhone pricing plan for three of Taiwan's largest telephone companies, Chunghwa Telecom, Far East Tone Telecommunications, and Taiwan Mobile. Now, under Taiwanese law, those companies should be free of any sort of corporate interference once they have purchased the rights to distribute said iDevices from Apple. But sadly, it doesn't appear to be the case. Apple has the option to appeal the Commission's decision, but at this point, there is no word if the company plans to avail itself on that option. Now, this isn't the first time a major smartphone company has been caught playing hard with Taiwanese law. Samsung has also been fined. It got fined $10,000 for claiming that its Galaxy Y Duo smartphone had an autofocusing camera with a flash, which it didn't. So these sort of fines that get put on tech titans don't cause any shift in behavior. Don't forget, Apple has something like $150 billion, probably even more, just in cash reserves. And Samsung, too, is well equipped to handle these kind of fines. Now, if you didn't know, if you haven't heard yet about the Target breach, Target, the chain of stores, was breached for 40 million customer credit card information, and it seems that they may be liable for up to $3.6 billion from that breach. Now, last week, 40 million customers' credit card data has been stolen, and Target could face a $90 fine for each cardholder's data which has been compromised. Now, that is a $3.6 billion liability. Now, Target will likely face all sorts of lawsuits and the added cost to assure that everything in its infrastructure is secure. Now, Target and these other vendors usually get reviewed by the PCI Council once a year to make sure they're keeping the house in order, but it's also a bit of a sham. The PCI Council likes to say that none of those that they have ever certified have been breached, but the PCI Council has retroactively revoked certification after a retailer has had a breach. Regardless, things can get pretty brutal for the retailer. They can face civil fines, suspension of credit card acceptance by a merchant's credit card account provider, and a loss of all the trust that retailers bank on so much with their customers. 4 states are now asking Target questions for a potential class action lawsuit, and now the retailer's logo has a whole different meaning. TJ Maxx was facing a similar dilemma in 2007 when data from 90 million credit cards was stolen. Now, there's a lot of theories on how the breach happened, but the worst part is how it affects people. The credit cards we use here in the United States have magnetic strips, and all that data is being pulled off the credit cards and put on counterfeit cards, which are then sold on the black market. People can blame all this on Target, but really it's the magnetic strip that makes fraud so much easier for everybody. Now, data encrypted on microchips has been used in Europe for many years, and the U.S. is still lagging way behind. And the microchips are not a cure-all, but it could go a long way in protecting the customers. I really hope the United States does start going with the microchip. It seems that Silk Road 2 is still running after moderators have been arrested. Now, the Silk Road 2 is a hidden website modeled on the original Silk Road, and it's regrouping as the users and single remaining moderator prepare for a Christmas lockdown. Now, the group faced a setback on Friday when U.S. and Irish authority arrested the moderators, while there is one final moderator, Cirrus, who remains on the site. Now, the arrests happened in conjunction with the shutdown of the first Silk Road, and are probably unrelated to the new version. Now, the site is currently closed to orders and will reopen after Christmas on the 28th. On the 22nd, a moderator named DEFCON allowed the site to remain open 12 more hours so users could withdraw funds. Make no mistake, Silk Road is not dead and the marketplace is not compromised. it will return after a break regardless of how this plays out. So there is still a Silk Road. People are still going to be buying drugs illegally with Bitcoins. It's just going to keep happening. In more Bitcoin news, Overstock.com plans to accept Bitcoin in 2014. The retailer has the ambition to become the first major online retailer to accept a digital currency, and it very well could be. No other major retailer has announced a similar plan yet. However, the retailer doesn't expect to start accepting Bitcoin until the second half of 2014. By that time, Dogecoin could eclipse its popularity if you think Dogecoin's actually going to go anywhere. But the announcement comes just days after a major shake-up in the Bitcoin ecosystem as China's largest exchange stopped accepting deposits, and Bitcoin dropped 50% in just a few hours. Overstock saw just over $1 billion in revenue last year. The stock price is up 109%, and the news about accepting Bitcoin caused the shares to drop another 7%. Now, even though Overstock will be accepting Bitcoin, it is not sure what their conversion rate will be. Anybody can set their own conversion rate of what they want their Bitcoins to cost to the site. And finally, Dish and DirecTV hike prices are coming for 2014. Following the trends from recent years, nearly every available package from the two satellite TV providers will increase in price, with fee hikes ranging from $2 to $5. Also, both companies began notifying customers of price hikes just before Christmas. DirecTV has a 4.4% average price increase this year. The Premier package will cost up to $130. Dish raised its prices 5.5% next year. But unlike DirecTV, Dish isn't hiking fees on all of its plans. This all comes at a point when both companies are trying to figure out what their identity will be in the future. DirecTV is exploring online TV service to try to compete with Hulu and Netflix, but it's not going to happen. And Dish is trying to build a national broadband network. But subscribers can expect Dish Network's rates to go in January and DirecTV in February. So if you're still actually watching satellite, expect your rates to go up sometime soon. Alright guys, this has been Colbert, Colbert Tech Repair. I hope you enjoyed today's tech news. If you liked, give me a like. If you didn't, feel free to give me a dislike. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down in the comments section below. You can also find me on my Twitter at Colbert92 and at Facebook at facebook.com/Colbert Tech Repair. I hope you guys had some happy holidays, and I'll see you next time.